The fuselage of a cargo aircraft is sinking, slowly, on purpose. Brown river water rises against the white aluminium skin of the airplane body as pumps flood the barge beneath it with ballast water. The barge drops centimeter by centimeter. Ahead, a steel railway bridge stretches across the river, its lowest beam 6.1 meters above the waterline. The fuselage on the barge stands 6.4 meters. 3 centimeters too tall. So the crew is sinking the barge until the fuselage clears. The captain of the red pusher tug watches from his wheelhouse, one hand on the throttle, the other on the radio. His deck crew stands at the bow, measuring the gap between the fuselage roof and the bridge beam with a laser, 30 centimeters, and closing. The current pushes the barge toward the bridge at 2 kilometers per hour. They have about 4 minutes to get the height right, or stop the entire operation in the middle of a river. 4 days earlier, the aircraft assembly plant on the north bank of the river, a gray industrial complex with a wide concrete slipway leading down to the water. Inside the final assembly hangar, the fuselage sits on a yellow transport cradle. It is the forward section of a heavy cargo plane, a white aluminium cylinder 38 meters long and 6 meters in diameter. The cockpit windows are covered with protective film. The cargo door opening on the side is sealed with a temporary steel plate bolted over it. No wings, no tail, no engines. Just the bare body, ready for its journey south to the finishing plant 400 kilometers downriver. The barge waits at the slipway, a flat steel deck 60 meters long and 12 wide, dark gray with orange safety rails. 6 internal ballast tanks, 3 on each side, connected to electric pumps. Pump water in, the barge sinks. Pump it out, it rises. This is how the crew will pass under the railway bridge. A blue portal crane on rails lowers 4 lifting beams through reinforced points on the fuselage. 32 tons. The crane rolls forward and holds the white cylinder above the barge. Workers guide the descent. The fuselage settles onto 6 wooden V-shaped cradles with rubber padding. 12 nylon ratchet straps and 4 steel chains crossing over the top lock it in place. The red pusher tug backs into position. Twin diesels, 1,400 horsepower. The white escort boat will run ahead, checking for low cables, fishing boats, and sandbars. The escort captain marks 3 hazard points on his river chart. Bridge 1 at kilometer 112, railway, lowest clearance on the route. Bridge 2 at 260, highway, plenty of room. A shallow bend at 320 where the current accelerates. Day 1, 8 in the morning. The tug pushes the barge away from the slipway and into the main river channel. The current catches the flat hull and the tug's engines rise in pitch, correcting course. The white fuselage sits on the barge like a beached whale, enormous, smooth, impossibly out of place on a river. Fishermen in small boats along the bank stop and stare. A man on a dock raises his phone to take a picture. The first 50 kilometers are wide and slow. Green fields on both sides, grain silos in the distance, a tractor on a riverside road. The escort boat scans the channel ahead. The tug captain settles in with coffee, both engines at cruise. By noon, 60 kilometers covered. The river narrows and the current picks up. A crewman walks the barge deck, checking every strap by hand. Nylon tight, steel chains no slack, rubber padding compressed but firm. Highway bridge at kilometer 85, 14 meters of clearance, no concern. The afternoon brings headwind. The flat barge and tall fuselage catch it like a sail. Spray hits the deck and runs along the white aluminum skin. By 5 in the evening, 100 kilometers done. The escort boat anchors for the night. The tug pushes on. The schedule allows no stop. Night on the river. Navigation lights red and green. The fuselage, a dark shape against the stars, visible only when they pass a riverside village's orange glow. The tug captain switches to radar, watching the green sweep for channel markers. His co-pilot takes the helm at midnight. Day 2, 6 in the morning. Kilometer 108. The railway bridge is 4 kilometers ahead. The escort boat has already measured the clearance, 6.1 meters above current waterline. The fuselage on its cradles stands 6.4 meters above the barge deck, but the barge deck currently sits 60 centimeters above the water. Total height 7 meters. They need to sink the barge until the deck is below the waterline, submerging it enough that the fuselage top drops to 5.8 meters above the river surface. That gives 30 centimeters of clearance under the bridge. The tug captain throttles back and lets the current carry them slowly. The ballast pump operator on the barge opens the intake valves. River water floods into the 6 ballast tanks. The barge begins to sink. The deck edge, once 60 centimeters above the water, drops to 40, then 20, then level. Then the river begins washing over the deck surface. Brown water pools around the cradle bases. The fuselage sits in a shallow lake on a sinking platform. The crew watches the height gauge welded to the barge's bow rail, a simple steel ruler marked in centimeters. The deck is now 15 centimeters below the waterline. Total height from water surface to fuselage top, 5.85 meters. The bridge clearance is 6.1, 25 centimeters of margin. The tug captain radios the escort boat. Ready. The escort boat positions itself under the bridge to watch from below. The tug pushes the barge forward at walking speed. The white fuselage approaches the dark steel bridge beams. On the barge bow, a crewman points a laser straight up at the closing gap. 30 centimeters. 25. The fuselage slides under the first beam. 20 centimeters at the center, the lowest point. The roof of the airplane passes beneath the steel with a gap you could barely fit a hand into. The stern clears. The escort captain radios. All clear. The ballast pumps reverse. Water roars out of the tank outlets into the river. The barge rises. The deck surfaces. In 20 minutes, the barge is back to normal draft and the convoy resumes full speed. The tug captain exhales and reaches for his coffee. The remaining 290 kilometers bring easier water. Bridge number 2 at kilometer 260 passes with 5 meters of clearance. The shallow bend at 320 requires careful steering. The tug captain hugs the outer bank where the channel is deepest, the barge scraping through with a meter of water under the hull. Day 2, 4 in the afternoon, kilometer 400. The finishing plant's river dock appears around the last bend. A concrete wharf with a massive blue portal crane on rails, its legs spanning 30 meters. The tug captain begins his approach, throttling down and letting the current swing the barge parallel to the dock. Dock workers catch the mooring lines and loop them over steel bollards. The barge bumps gently against the rubber fenders and stops. The blue portal crane rolls above the fuselage. 4 lifting beams connect to the cradle points. Straps off, chains unhooked. 32 tons rise off the barge, water dripping from the lower skin where the ballasting soaked it. On the dock, a dark red trailer waits with matching cradles. The crane swings the fuselage over and lowers it down. Workers strap it in. The driver starts his engine. 15 more kilometers by road to the finishing hangar, where wings, engines, and tail will be attached. The empty barge sits at the dock, cradles bare and wet. The tug captain shuts down his engines for the first time in 26 hours. On the dock, the red trailer pulls away, the white fuselage catching the late afternoon sun. 400 kilometers of river, 1 railway bridge with 20 centimeters to spare. A barge that had to sink to let an airplane pass.